What's up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new, my name is Stephanie, and as you can probably tell by the title of this video, I am officially a licensed, registered nurse. I have been documenting my journey since the beginning of my nursing program, so if you haven't checked any of those videos out, definitely do. Catch yourselves up and stick around so that we can keep the ball rolling. The last time I posted for you guys was a vlog of the day leading up to my NCLEX exam, the morning of my NCLEX exam, and all of the anxieties that came with it. I did mention in that video that my exam did cut off in 75 questions, and that can go either way. You can either have done very well, that you passed in 75 questions, or you could have bombed miserably and failed in 75 questions. And although I knew in my heart I couldn't have done that bad, I didn't know 100% if I had passed, and I didn't find out until the next day. And it is honestly surreal. But I'm now finally having a chance to record this video for you guys. I did post on my Instagram that I had passed, and I also created a status update post on my YouTube channel. I'm not sure if you guys saw that because it was my first time doing it, and I don't know if you guys see those posts, if you just see it on your feed if you're subscribed to me, or if you have to actually go onto my channel to see that post. I got a few acknowledgements, but I didn't get too many responses, and I was still getting comments on my video, asking what my results were, so I assumed that you didn't see that post. So let me know, because I won't continue to really make those posts if you guys don't see them. But I do try to keep you guys updated on my Instagram as well a lot more often, so if you don't follow me there yet, definitely do. But I did want to post this video for you guys and share with you what I did, what helped me pass my exam in only 75 questions. I was able to take the current NCLEX before they switched over to the next gen in April, which is just a few days away. So if you're watching this video and you haven't taken your NCLEX yet, you will probably be taking the next gen. However, I did have a chance to take some of those practice questions that they gave me at the end of my exam. And you will need to know more or less the same information, the same material. It's just the type of questions that they'll ask you will just be a little bit different. The type of questions will be case scenario type questions. So they'll give you the patient demographics, the patient's history, diagnosis, vital signs, medications, doctor's orders, all of that. You'll have different exhibits, and then you'll have a question that'll either be a regular multiple choice or a select all that apply, drag and drop, hotspot, whatever the case may be. But it might take you a little longer to answer that question just because there are many exhibits that you'll have to go back and look at and kind of decipher and figure out what's the right answer. So that's really the only difference that I noticed. You'll still be able to use the same resources that I use because these prep courses, they'll adapt to all of the new versions of the NCLEX that come out. So don't fret. We will get through this. So sit back, grab yourself something to drink. I have me my protein iced coffee. It's 7 o'clock in the evening, but I did take a nap earlier, and it's rainy and dark and gloomy, and I really just want to hop on my couch and watch Law and Order for the rest of the night. But I promised myself that I was finally going to sit down and record this video for you guys because it's getting ridiculous at this point, and I can't keep you guys hanging, right? But anyways, I did write some things down on my iPad here, so if you see me looking down, it's just because I don't want to miss anything. So the first thing that I want to emphasize is how important it is for you guys to determine how well your school foundation was. So when I graduated from my nursing program, I truly believed that I got a very good education. I was well prepared. I had great professors. I had great materials that I used throughout my nursing program that were provided for me. And so I was very happy with the education that I got from my school. Mind you, I did have some complaints with clinicals and hands-on practice, but the fact that I had a job at a hospital during my program helped in that sense. But as far as lecture was concerned, I think that all of my professors did a great way in lecturing and making sure that we were prepared for the NCLEX and to start our careers as registered nurses. That is not the case with everyone. I have many friends, many coworkers that say they didn't have the same experience. They felt like they were self-teaching themselves most of the time. They didn't have very good materials or resources or a lot of support from their professors, and they felt like they had to study a lot harder or prep a lot longer when it came down to studying for the NCLEX. So it's very important for you guys to decide that for yourselves before you do begin your prep, because it's different for everyone. And that does take me into my second tip, and that is to get the Saunders NCLEX review book. They do have a new version for the next gen NCLEX that's about to come out. My master's professor recommended that we get that book our second semester of nursing school. And although I do have to admit, I did not open that book as much during my NCLEX prep, like once I graduated, but while I was in nursing school, I used that book like it was my Bible. It was so good at just like compacting all of the information and describing it and explaining it to you in a way for you to understand it. It had great practice questions, and so it was a great tool to use during nursing school, and that way you're kind of preparing yourselves from the very beginning, like subconsciously. You are reading NCLEX style questions, you are learning information in a way that'll help you remember in the future. And so it's a great tool to get now, even if you are in the program, or even an additional resource that you can use during your NCLEX prep, because they do have very good practice questions. Or if you are having trouble with just a particular topic, they do like separate each topic very well so that you can just like focus on one particular subject if that's the case. But yes, highly recommend that book. You can get it on Amazon. I will link it down below for you guys so that you guys can check that out. It is a gem. Now for the third tip, I want to share with you guys the two resources that I used while I was finally sitting down and prepping for my NCLEX, and that was the Marquet lectures and Uworld. Now I did use the Marquet lectures, like the old lectures that you can find online. He has newer lectures out. I was actually very close to buying his like live online lecture, or he was actually down in Miami like in October or something, and I was thinking of actually buying his course and going. I didn't mind paying for the course. The only thing was that his lectures are like 3 days, 8 hours each day. And I found it dreadful to have to sit in a classroom for 3 days straight. You aren't allowed to record. He doesn't allow you to record anymore because of copyright issues, I guess. And so to have to like sit for 8 hours for 3 days and just like try to grasp all of that information, it sounded dreadful to me and didn't sound helpful at all. I wanted to sit down and listen to a lecture every day, take my time, write my notes, go back and re-listen to the lecture if I wanted to, 1 or 2 lectures a day, and spread them out that way. I just felt like it was going to be a lot more effective that way than just trying to consume all of the information at once. So that was the only downside with going to a live lecture. So for the NCLEX that I took, his old lectures worked just perfectly. I'm not sure how good they'll be for the new NCLEX. Now, mind you, the information is the same, but he does have a great way of just teaching you how to answer these questions, on how to play process of elimination and just decipher between 2 right questions and how to remember different things. I loved the way that he lectures. So I highly recommend his lectures, even if they are the older version. He has great gems, great information to share, and he helped me so much. Like I heard his voice while I was sitting down taking my exam. I heard his voice in the back of my head reminding me what to do. So very helpful, highly recommend. I actually started listening to the Marquet lectures like towards the end of my last semester of nursing school. And then my leadership course came and it was all craziness. And so I kind of like had to put that to the side and didn't pick the lectures back up until after I graduated. And so I kind of like listened to them sporadically. I was in the middle of my move Now he does have lecture notes that go along with his lectures that you can find online. I'm going to try to find a way to link that for you guys. I don't know how I can do that, but I'll try. But I did go out of my way to write my own notes for each lecture. It's just a great way for me to really retain the information and remember what I'm learning. Also, when I was doing my Uworld questions, I was able to go back and go to my own notes, and I'm able to understand my notes just like better because I color coordinate, I add pictures and like tables and graphs and things like that. So like, for example, that is one of them, and just like adding different things. I don't know if you guys can really see, but I did one of these for each one of his lectures, just like adding different tables and pictures and things like that. The glare isn't too good, but this was awesome. I used Notability on my iPad, and it was just a great tool for me to be able to listen, learn, go back, reread. So I highly recommend for you guys to rewrite your notes. It is scientifically proven that it does help retain information. Now, Uworld is the second resource that I used after listening to the Mark K lectures. Uworld was a great resource. Not everybody loves Uworld. There are many other practice exams that you guys can use. Kaplan is one. I know that Archer is another one that's very good. I'm not really sure how Archer works. I think that's like a lecture plus questions. I'm not really sure, but I do know that a lot of people used Archer if they didn't feel like they had a very good foundation from school and it was very helpful for them. Uworld was perfect for me. All of the questions that they had were very similar to the NCLEX in my opinion. And they have a lot of questions for you to practice from. They have like 2,000 plus questions. I definitely did not get through all of my questions, even though I wanted to. I didn't, and I didn't really need to, but it really, again, all depends on how you're doing on each practice exam and how you feel with answering those questions to determine, you know, how many questions do you think that you'll need to take and how long you need to study. I want to say that overall, I studied for about 4 weeks, and that's collectively, not necessarily continuously, because I definitely took like breaks and gaps in between just because I had so much going on. I was moving and I was also still working, and so I don't want to say that I was one of those people that just like dropped everything and had my nose in a book for 6 weeks straight. That was not the case. Uworld, I think that I put a good 2 weeks in. And I want to say that when I started Uworld, my objective was to answer as many questions as I possibly could, which wasn't the best approach. As I was answering questions, I started doing worse and worse on my practice exams. So you can set up your practice exams to be up to 75 questions. That's like the most that you can make them. It can be like 25 questions, 50 questions, but 75 is the max. And so I would do a lot of 75 question exams just to kind of like prep myself and getting used to sitting down and answering at least 75 questions. And sometimes I would do like short ones, like 25 questions here and there when I didn't have a lot of time. And I just felt like I was getting to a point that I was getting the same questions in different ways, and I was still unable to answer them correctly, even though I had that question before. And so I was realizing that I was not focusing on the rationales as much as I should have been. I was just kind of trying to get to the next question and the next question. And I wasn't getting a lot out of my studying. On the contrary, I was getting a lot more frustrated. I felt like I was just stupid and making silly mistakes. Like, I know the answer to this question. Why am I making this silly mistake? And so I really did have to take a step back, and I like dropped Uworld. I dropped all the studying. I went into like a little funk, honestly. And I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. And I think that that's very important for you guys to listen to yourselves, listen to your minds, listen to your bodies, listen to your guts. And if you need to sit back, take a break, and look at things from a different perspective, definitely do that. I had to do that, and I came back with a different approach that at the end helped me be successful. So I decided to come back, and instead of having the goal be to answer as many questions as I possibly could, was to go back and read all of the rationales of all of the previous exams. I had gotten to the point that I had answered a good amount of questions that I felt like I had a good bunch that I can go back, read the rationales, and learn when I needed to. Because like I said, I felt like I was getting like the same kinds of questions, like the same type, same diagnosis, like what they were asking, just in a different way. And so I should know how to answer that question. So when I took that approach and started reading the rationales, I finally took my self-assessment, and I felt so much better about my self-assessment. I did very well. I got an 80 on my self-assessment, which was like a very good chance of passing the NCLEX. And I took that maybe like 2 days or so before my actual exam. I don't know if I recommend that. I would probably recommend to take your self-assessment at least like a week or so before. There are some subscriptions on Uworld that give you 2 self-assessments. I got the one that only gave you 1 self-assessment. But if you have 2 self-assessments, it's a lot better. You can take one at the beginning and then one towards the end of your studying to kind of compare the two. I just didn't do all that and waited until the end and was hoping for the best. But I don't know, I was kind of playing with fire there. So if you want to give yourselves maybe like a week or so, take your self-assessment so that you can go back depending on how you did and review all of the topics that you're kind of like lacking in. But yeah, Marquet and Uworld were beautiful, so helpful. The rationales on Uworld are awesome, and the questions are also like set up very similar to the NCLEX. Like the screen looks the same, so it kind of like gets you into that mode. So when you get it to the exam, it doesn't look too unfamiliar. It's kind of like, okay, I've been here before, and you feel more like at home, and it's like, all right, this is not as scary as I thought it was going to be. And speaking of scaries, going into tip number 5 is to know yourselves and your anxiety levels, your study habits, how you react to exams, and all of that good stuff. It's very important for you to really know yourselves. You are not like the person next to you. Only you know how much studying you need to put forth. Only you know if you need to take a break from work. Only you know if you need 1, 2, 3, 5 prep courses to be successful with taking your NCLEX. So study yourselves, know yourselves, don't compare yourselves to anybody else. This is your exam, your future, your career. You do whatever it is that you need to do to be successful in this exam. It doesn't matter if the person next to you is still going out every night or still working their full-time job with their 3 kids, and you don't have any of that and you're still struggling. Who cares? Who the heck cares? Everybody's different. Everybody has different anxiety levels. Just take care of you. And if you have to work a little harder, hard work beats talent any day of the week, my friends. And that is just that. Which takes me to tip number 6, and that is to have yourselves a mental health day. Whether that be the entire week leading up to your exam or just the day before. Invest in yourselves. You guys, the day before my exam, I woke up and my plan was to just have a self-care day, a chill, relaxed day, nothing crazy going on. I woke up, I went to the gym, I got myself a nice workout in, I stretched, I had a recovery session, went into the sauna, and I just let go and let God because that's all you can do at that point. I am not one to study super hard like the day before my exam or just hours leading up to my exam. I'm all about mentally preparing myself. Don't get me wrong, I did still have some anxiety levels throughout the day. I peeked to my self-assessment and read some rationales here and there, But the moment that I found myself getting flustered or just like feeling anxious all over again, I put it down and diverted my attention to something else. I did a vlog that day, which is so therapeutic, talking to you guys and knowing that you know what I'm going through. It's just, it definitely helps with my anxiety levels as well. So I just like did what I had to make sure that I was in the right state of mind, because you guys, you could know everything. I mean, you could know all of the information. You could have studied day and night and know everything like the back of your hands. But if you are not in the right place mentally, if I'm not in the right place mentally, I'm gonna fail. That's just how it works. So whatever you need to do to take care of you, do it. Drink your water, get some sun, get your sleep, and move those legs, y'all. Physical activity up, so important. Get that blood pumping. Which takes me to my 7th and final tip for you guys today, and that is to start your morning off on the right foot the day of your exam, you guys. There are usually 2 start times, either 8 a.m. or 1 p.m. for your exam. If it's 1 p.m., even better, you have the entire morning to prepare, but even if it's at 8 a.m., no excuses, you guys. Wake up early. I was up at 4:30, ready to go. Wake up, drink that tall glass of water, make yourself some coffee, step outside, reflect, express gratitude. When I woke up that morning, the first thing that I did was just thank God that I had the opportunity to go before this test and just be the best that I can be and show the world, show myself that I can do this. And I felt great. I listened to a podcast, I got some sprints in, got my blood pumping. And so I highly recommend go outside, get a walk in, and shake out those last minute jitters that you have. Get there early enough to find parking, go to the bathroom, pack some snacks, take your water. Just make sure that you're prepared so that you're not held back by silly things like being late or like not being able to find parking or like starving when you're 2 hours into your exam. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope that these tips help you with preparing for your NCLEX exam. I know that you guys can do it. There's no way for me to sit here and express to you how capable you are if you truly believe in yourselves and do what you have to do to get out there and crush all of your dreams. It is so possible. Trust me, if I am sitting here right now making this video telling you how I have become a licensed registered nurse and how I passed my NCLEX in 75 questions knowing the person that I used to be, it's just, it's mind-boggling. But if I can do it, you can do it. We all can do it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I do plan on filming a new video about my experience in nursing school, answering any of your questions. A lot of you guys have reached out through Instagram and even my email with some questions about nursing school. And so I am going to address all of those in a new video. If you have any particular questions or anything that you want me to focus on, definitely let me know in the comments below so that I don't miss anything. And yeah, I'm gonna continue sharing this journey with you guys. I can't wait to share with you guys everything that is coming now that I have passed my NCLEX and I am ready to start my new career. So many good things have been happening and are coming. And so in my next vlog, which I will most likely start tomorrow, and you'll see after you see this video, but I will give you an update on everything that's going on and keep this journey going. So definitely stick around if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you haven't already. You guys remember, thoughts really do become things when you put in the work. So never stop believing, never stop working. The real flex is when you stay solid when things get tough. Till next time.